So this weekend sees the return of the Premier League with Burnley taking on the champions Manchester City. Who's going to get off to a fire? Who's going to get off to a stinker? We're going to take a little look next. Prediction League. That's right, folks. Back once again with another prediction video. Today, we're taking a look at match number 1 in the 2023-2024 Premier League. Of course, who's going to get off to an absolute flyer? Who's going to get off to a stuttering start? We'll take a look at it, all of it, in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button, bang, take all things Rovers related, Premier League related, world football related. We're going to all here, boys, under one roof. It's been a while, guys. We had a bit of a stuttered end to the campaign ourselves as predictors here at the Prediction League. But of course, we're back in full HD, and hopefully you're going to be there for the long haul, of course. Make sure you check out the links down below. I am on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Facebook, all that kind of jazz. And of course, if you're new, make sure you smash your subscribe. And a big shout out once again to the patrons who are backing the channel long time now. So anyway, let's get cracking and tell you what we're talking about. We're talking about this. It is the Premier League, of course, and we are looking forward to, of course, a new season. Of course, Man City, champions once again. Of course, bringing back the championship title, also coming at us as European champions, of course. We said goodbye to Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton. They're going to be into the championship. Of course, going to be spicy for them to keep on keeping on. Of course, the likes of Arsenal, Man United, Newcastle, hoping to be contenders once again this campaign. So let's take a look at those 20 clubs that make up the Premier League. We have got Bournemouth, they're still here. Arsenal, Villa, Brentford, Brighton, Burnley, Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Everton, Fulham, Liverpool, Luton Town are here for the first time. Manchester City, Man United, Newcastle United, Nottingham Forest. We've got Sheffield United. They are here. Also, Tottenham Hotspur, West Ham, and Wolves. They are your 20 clubs. If you've got a favourite club here, if your club's in the 20, smash that thumbs up, boys, because we need to get these likes up there to get us out there to make this next interactive prediction league the spiciest we've ever had. So get more eyes on the prize. Get involved. Get you involved. It is free to enter. Is there a prize? I don't know. If we can get over, I'm going to be a dick. If we can get over 200 likes, we'll have a prize for the prediction league. How about that? Yeah, 200. I'm going to go for it. I don't hardly ever get 200 likes, but if we can get over 200 likes, I will put a prize in the prediction league. How do you like those apples? Oh yeah. Okay, this is how the table looks right here, right now. And as you see, I don't know who's put them down there. Forest, Luton, Wolves. Take a picture. That could be how it goes down. That could be how it goes. But Bournemouth would take 5th all day long. But that's, of course, a generic start. We are going to jump in the deep end with this. Of course, a quick look at the full fixture list. But we're going to go into it nitty gritty, down and dirty. Here we go with, of course, the Super Brew. That's right. We're going to jump in the Super Brew. Here is the link. It is free. Get amongst it. And again, 200 likes. We'll get a prize in there. I don't know whether it could be a glass of my bath water or something. We can figure something out. But anyway, get involved. 200 likes. Make it happen. Of course, it is free. There should be a link also in the description. But anyway, down and dirty with the 6-fingered freaks. That's right. It is Burnley up against the champions, of course. It's Company up against Pep. It's, of course, Protege against Master. It's Padawan up against Jedi. Let's lock horns on this one then, shall we? Taking place at Turdmore. Get your tetanus shots. Haaland, make sure you're clued up with your eyeballs because you might catch something from these guys. Do not touch the sides. Do not touch the railings, anything metal. Be careful because these freaks are disgusting. They come with some special requirements. You need a special license to go here. But anyway, enough about them scummy little turd houses. I'm talking about Burnley. They played each other 22 times to 2001. We've got 1 win for Burnley. We've got 18 wins for City. We've got 3 draws, of course. Burnley, of course, managed by Vinny Company. Their biggest win, their only win over Man City was a 1-0 win. They've scored 15 goals in those 22 games. 0.68 goals game ratio. Now, that is probably more than likely the Sean Dyche Burnley era. This is, of course, a new era, new regime, new start. Of course, they're coming in with a swagger, do Burnley at the moment. Man City, they're hoping to wipe that swagger off their face. 18 times they've played, 6-0 was the biggest win. 72 goals scored in those 22 games. 3.27 goals game ratio. I'd love to see more of that. Would you please? Of course, last time they played at Turdmore was a 2-0 win for Man City. And for the last 6, of course, Man City winning 6 out of 6. Burnley haven't even scored a goal, of course. So let's hope that continues. We've got 7-1 as your Burnley, 5-1 as the draw, 10-3 on as, of course, your Man City. I want Man City to win, but I just got a sneaky feeling, opening day and all that, it's going to be a draw, of course. New start Burnley. Of course, the Klopp-Pep thing, the Pep company sort of relationship, all this kind of stuff is leading towards a draw. And Burnley will be doing backflips after this. Man City will be fine. They'll get their heads together. This is just a stuttered start. And of course, we're expecting some stuttered starts. And that's why I'm also going with a stuttered start here. Opening day, all eyes on this one. Everyone's expecting a riot. And Burnley will up their game. Next, of course, we have Arsenal against Forest. Of course, the early game on Saturday, the 12th of August at the Emirates. Of course, played the 14 times in 1994. We got 8 wins for Arsenal. We got 4 wins for Forest. We got 2 draws. Of course, Arsenal biggest win over Forest, 5-2 win, scoring 27 goals in those 14 games, 1.93 goals game ratio. On the flip side, Forest's biggest win over Arsenal was a 4-2 win. They scored 12 goals in those 14 games, 0.86 goals a game ratio when locking horns. The last time played over at Emirates was a 5-0 win for Arsenal back in October 2022. The away side hasn't won this game since Arsenal beat Forest back in September 2016 in the EFL Cup. The odds for this one at the moment, we've got 4-1 on is your Arsenal. Of course, 11-2 is the draw. 70-2 is your Forest on this one. Of course, Arsenal heavy spenders this time around. Forest still trying to bring in some acquisitions, including goalkeepers. And in fact, they might even be after Turner. It might already be done and dusted. I think they're trying to get Turner in from Arsenal. Will Arsenal, hold on tight just a little bit longer? Who knows? But I'm dropping this on the 4th of August right here, recording this. So right here, right now, he's still Arsenal player, but he will probably more than likely be in the goal for Nottingham Forest come kickoff on this. So 2-0 win for me, though, on this. Next, of course, we have Bournemouth. They're still bloody here, that's right. Under a new regime, under the stewardship of Andy Areola up against West Ham and David Moyes for the time being as well. He could also be facing a lot of heat right now as David Moyes, despite winning a European title or a cup over the past season, though. 14 times these two sides have played each other since 2013. We've got 5 wins for Bournemouth. We've got 6 wins for West Ham. We've got 3 draws, of course. Bournemouth, their biggest win, 5-3 win. They scored 23 goals in those 14 games, 1.64 goals game ratio heading into this. West Ham, though, 4-0 win was the biggest over Bournemouth. We've got 31 goals scored in those 14 games, 2.21 goals scored on average when, of course, they played Bournemouth. But last time played Bournemouth was a 4-0 win. That was back in April 2023. In fact, they scored 6 goals without return last season, both home and away. The odds for this one, we have 9-5 as your Bournemouth. We've got 7-5 as your West Ham. They are favoured here. I've got 12-5 is the draw. I'm backing a 1-0 win for Bournemouth. Maybe a bit of uncertainty for West Ham at the moment. And of course, new manager bounce straight off the bat. But of course, don't expect them to be safe as houses this campaign. I think they're going to find out the hard way. Was it second season syndrome or whatever? I think this is it. They're going to have a really sour taste in the mouth, Bournemouth, this campaign. But they're there to take the surprises, and of course they'll get off to a flyer here. 3 points closer to safety. That's all they could do at the moment. Next, of course, we have Brighton up against Luton. A bit of an interesting one. This one, of course, wasn't long ago that these two sides were both in the 4th tier. Played each other 9 times in 2003. We got 3 wins for Brighton. We got 4 wins for Luton. We got 2 draws, of course. Biggest win for Brighton, 3-1 win. They've scored 13 goals in those 9 games, 1.44 goals game ratio. On the flip side, Luton coming at your biggest win for them over Brighton, 3-0 win. They scored 15 goals in those 9 games, 1.67 goals game ratio. Of course, that's the pleasure in competitive action, in league action at Brighton was a 3-1 win back in November 2007. Of course, 3-1 win it was for Brighton. The odds for this game, though, is 3-1 on for Brighton. Of course, they are established Premier League side now. 92 is your draw, 7-1 is your long shots. I'm going 2-0 win as well for Brighton. Rude awakening maybe for Luton. But of course, I think the proof is in the pudding whenever they get their home games up and running. I think that's when Luton will kick into gear and might make things a little bit difficult. Next, of course, we have Sean Dyche's boys. Of course, Everton up against a Mitrovic-less Fulham these days, of course. Everton coming at you. 36 times they played each other, these two sides, since 2001. We've got 19 wins for Everton. We've got 13 wins for Fulham. We've got 4 draws, of course. Everton, biggest win over Fulham, 4-0 win. They scored 56 goals in those 36 games, 1.56 goals game ratio heading into this match. 3-1 win was the biggest for Fulham. 39 goals scored in those 36 games, 1.08 goals scored on average when taking on Everton. Last time played each other, of course, over at Goodison Park. It was a 3-1 win for Everton. It was back in April 2023. In fact, the home side hasn't won this game since Fulham beat Everton back in April 2019, of course. So usually the away side, or recently the away side, has picked up the spoils. The odds on this one, though, 11 to 10 is your Everton, 13 to 5 is your draw, and 9 to 4 is your away win, of course. Keeping hold of Silva was fantastic for Fulham. Losing Mitrovic is massive. They have brought in some other options to kind of replace those goals, but I still think it's going to be a struggle this campaign for Fulham. But we'll see how they get on over the coming weeks when, of course, they get the chance to open up their home options here. Of course, Sheffield United up against Crystal Palace at Bramall Lane. Again, home form going to be massive for the Blades. Played each other 32 times since 1995. We've got 15 wins for Sheffield United. We've got 11 wins for Palace. And we've got 6 draws, of course. The biggest win for the hosts there, of course, 3-0 win. They've scored 39 goals in those 32 games. 1.22 goals game ratio heading into this. The visitors, though, biggest win, also a 3-0 win. They've scored 35 goals in those 32 matches, 1.09 goals game ratio heading into this as well. Last time I played each other over at Bramall Lane, it was a 2-0 win for Palace, who actually won back-to-back the last time that these two sides were in the Premier League in the 2021 season. So Sheffield United's last victory over Palace back in August 2019. The odds on this one, though, we have Sheffield United 9 to 5 for their victory, 11 to 8 is, of course, your Palace, 23-10 is the draw here. I'm back in the host here with a 2-1 win. I'm not too sure about Sheffield. I think they are going to struggle. I think they're going to go down. But again, opening day, a lot of pressure, a lot of surprises being thrown around. So 2-1 win for me for this one. Into, of course, the next one, I've got the Geordies up against Aston Villa, probably the game of the day, if you want to look at it this way. Of course, we've got the Geordies by Eddie Howard. Of course, Aston Villa up against Unai Emery. Played each other 55 times in 1993. We've got 25 wins for the host, 12 wins for the visitors, and 18 draws. 6-0 win was the biggest win for Newcastle. 77 goals scored in those 55 games, 1.4 goal games, 1.40 goals game ratio. On the flip side, Villa coming to this on the biggest win with a 3-0 win. They've scored 54 goals in those 55 games, 0.98 goals game ratio heading into this. However, last time I played each other over at St. James's Park, it was a big 4-0 win it was for Newcastle back in October 2022. In fact, the home side hasn't lost this game since Villa lost to Newcastle back in September 2013. Newcastle's last defeat to Aston Villa at home. I have no idea. We go back to 2006. I don't even see it. So Newcastle against Villa, yeah, you would bank the home side to get something from this one. 10 to 7 on is your Newcastle, 30 to 5 is draw, 50 to 4 is your away win. I have got Newcastle getting something. I've gone with a draw here, playing a bit safe for opening day on this one. I think Villa will surprise a few this time around, and they're going to compete with Newcastle. Probably feel that I think they're going to be up there 5th, 6th, 4th, something like that, above both of these two sides. Next, of course, we have Brentford up against Tottenham Hotspur coming at you on Sunday, August the 13th. Now, these two sides have played each other 5 times since 2021. We got 1 win for Brentford, 2 wins for Spurs, and 2 draws, of course. Brentford managed by Thomas Frank up against Tottenham, and of course Ange Postecoglou. Of course, Brentford biggest win, their only win over Spurs, 3-1 win. They've actually scored 5 goals in those 5 games, 1 goal a game ratio for the hosts. As for Spurs, coming into this on their biggest win over Brentford, 2-0 win, scoring 7 goals in those 5 games, 1.4 goals a game ratio. Last time around, though, in Brentford, it was a 2-2 draw back in Boxing Day 2022. Brentford, though, haven't lost against Spurs in the last 3 occasions. The odds on this one, 11 to 5 is your host, 12 to 5 is the draw, 6 to 5 is your away win. Which way are you going to go? I'm going to go with a cheeky 2-2 draw on this one. Plenty of goals in it, plenty of drama. Of course, no Ivan Toney, but where will the goals come from? That's, of course, the big mystery, the big question mark, and how will Spurs play? That's, of course, something to find out as well. Into the next one, it is Chelsea, it is Liverpool, the game of the day this time. Of course, the game of the day yesterday or Saturday was the Newcastle game. This is the game of the weekend total, of course. The zinger indeed over at Stamford Bridge. Another new manager, or of course, a returning manager to the league, Pochettino against Jurgen Klopp. Played it 84 times since 1993. We've got 31 wins for Chelsea, 30 wins for Liverpool, and 23 draws. Of course, Chelsea's biggest win over Liverpool, 4-0 win. They've scored 122 goals in those 84 games, 1.45 goals game ratio. Of course, Liverpool, biggest win over Chelsea, 5-1 win, scored 123 goals in those 84 games, 1.46 goals game ratio. Heading into this very, very tight between the two sides. And the last two games between two sides ended up as 0-0s, of course. The last time they played each other in the league with a victory for either of the two sides, you got to go back to Chelsea's victory over Liverpool back in March 2021. That was over at Anfield. The odds on this one, though, 50 to 8 is your Chelsea, 12 to 5 is your draw, 11 to 8 is your away win. That's Liverpool. Tight here. I'm going again. I'm going to go with a 3-peat. 3rd 0-0 in the league. in a row for these two sides. I cannot separate them at the moment. And then, of course, we'll wrap it up on Monday. Of course, August the 14th is Man United up against Wolves coming at you over at Old Trafford. Now, these two sides have played each other 24 times since 2003. We've got 15 wins for United. We've got 5 wins for Wolves. We've got 4 draws, of course. Wolves' biggest win, 1-0 win, scored 15 goals in those 24 games, 0.63 goals game ratio. The host, though, scoring, the biggest win was a 5-0 win, scoring 36 goals in those 24 games, 1.50 goals game ratio heading into this. Last time around, over at Old Trafford, was a 2-0 win for United. And, of course, United just losing once of the last 6. That was back in January 2022. I was at Old Trafford, though, so give them some credit. None the same. 11-4 Honours United. They are favoured here. 9-2 is draw. 6-1 is your away win, of course. But we're backing United. We're backing them big. 3-0 win for them. Statement result for them. Of course, question marks remain around Wolves at the moment. So 3-0 loss to them. And, of course, this is what the table, or this is my results in all their glory. So, of course, take a note, scribble it down, write my score down. And, of course, don't forget to put your own picks in as well in the Super Brew. We'll get to that shortly. Of course, this is what the table will look like. To be Man United top, Arsenal second, Brighton third, the Blades up there in fourth. Of course, going down, Forest, Luton and Wolves. That could be a realistic shout for who's going down. But, of course, that's early days. And, of course, don't forget to get your picks in here with the Super Brew. It's free. Get your name in there. Get your name in lights. Of course, there's some regular faces that are coming back once again to flex their own prediction muscles. But, of course, you've got to out-predict me first, the prediction king. So let's see about that. That's, of course, match number 1. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the old thumbs up. Remember, over 200 likes on this video will get a prize in the old prediction league. Otherwise, it's just going to be just for fun. For you and I, of course, we're going to out-predict each other as well. We'll be back for match number 2 very, very soon. But until then, subscribe, thumbs up, smash the little bell. Of course, I'll catch you back for the next one, whenever that is. Until then, we're out.